Hey guys, welcome to this video. In this video, let's talk about something mm, controversial, if I put it that way. But again, by this time, I am not, I'm not the kind of person who will keep my mouth shut to just avoid controversy. So, what I noticed is that the kind of YouTube comments I'm getting, and not only YouTube comments, the kind of, my friends, the way they're interpreting my nihilistic viewpoints. And by my friends, I mean the people who have my WhatsApp number. That's the definition of friends. I mean, they maybe have a little more access to me than you guys who are watching my YouTube because they have my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, I don't see them. At least till now, I have not met or I've not got this feeling about anyone that they really are they really can understand me or my views, or at least even if they cannot agree with my views, they at least can respect my views. I have not got that feeling for anyone, so I cannot say that they are my friends in the true sense of the word friend. But yeah, by friend I mean those who can see my WhatsApp statuses and have my WhatsApp number. So yeah, lately I have been projecting myself, my original self, my original inner voice, the kind of views which I have. So initially, when I started this YouTube channel 6 years back, I used to upload videos about airplane models, maybe about some educational videos, mathematics, physics, and so I do that even today. But apart from that, I also upload a lot of videos in which I discuss controversial topics like nihilism, life is meaningless, and my views, which are I understand, which might be very unacceptable to the common people. They might appear to be very dark, overly pessimistic, that kind of thing. I totally understand that. I totally acknowledge that. Now the point is, now do I regret it? Because since I have started sharing my inner voice with the world, I mean with my YouTube viewers at least, if not with the world, but so do I regret it? Because this has, let's put it if that way, that this has broken a lot of friendships for me, and I do not regret it because actually it's a kind of burden off my chest or off my shoulders. Because what I realized was that nihilism, I have previously argued that nihilism is a way to keep your views unbiased. I believe in nihilism, but I don't believe that life should be destroyed or there is no point in living. I think life is meaningless, inherently meaningless. Yeah, that's fine, but that does not mean that there is no point in living. Because I mean, if you die, then will you gain something more than? Maybe life is inherently meaningless. Of course, that's what I believe, but you won't gain anything more by dying. So I think living life in your own terms is very important. So if by nihilism you mean that I am against living life and pessimist, that's not, then I'm not that kind of nihilist. Okay, but the point is, I have always given a very much high, I have held my originality, my inner voice, or my own personal, like my personality, my mental architecture, my cognitive architecture, I've always held that in very high regard. And I have always decided never to change myself just because somebody doesn't like some of my views, or maybe they cannot agree with some of my views, and they can like show their ego just to assert their dominance over me. Like, see, let me tell this very clearly. I don't care who you are. I don't care whether you were a Nobel laureate or whether you were, I don't care about that. At the end of the day, I have stopped caring about this social validation, this conventional validation of my success, this prizes stuff, and this get this feeling of getting accepted among my friend circle, or whatever, among my peers. I've said this a lot of times in my previous videos, and for some reason that has painted a very resentful picture of me. Well, maybe, but let me tell you that I am very much at peace with myself. But my philosophy is that I will not change myself for someone else, even if even if it's a positive change. No, maybe there are some things inside me, there are some aspects of me which are not entirely right, which are wrong, let's put it that way, and there are some aspects of me which are right. Now, if you want to accept me as a human, you have to accept both the right and the wrong. If you cannot live with my wrong, I mean, if you think my negatives outweigh my positives, you forget about me. I have never forced anybody to kind of accept me as a friend or anything. And if you want to accept me as a friend, then you have to bear with my negatives as well, if you think my positives outweigh my negatives. And uh, changing for the better is always very important, of course, very important. But I will only change if my inner voice recognizes and tells me that, yeah, now you should change this is a bad thing inside me. And I have changed a lot of I have dealt with a lot of negative, let's say, aspects inside me, but only when my inner voice says this. Even if the same advice comes from someone else, some external third person, before my inner voice says this, I will not change, even if it's a positive change, because that will feel like I'm losing my originality, I'm losing my authenticity. I'm changing for someone else, I'm changing on someone else's orders. That means I am not myself. In a way, I want to live my life as myself. There will be goods, there will be bads, but at least I can say that I have not changed to someone else's likings or someone else's, I have not adjusted myself just because someone else would accept me, even if it's a positive change. So I totally admit that there are some things which inside me which are not acceptable, which I should change, but I will change only when I get that inner signal from myself, not from the external world. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are listening to this video, because most of you will be leaving after the first few minutes, because in this video I'll be sharing a lot of brutal truths. And at this point I have nothing to lose, because long back I have stopped caring about conventional success and failure. I just want the truth, and showing myself my true views, most of my views I understand are unacceptable and pessimistic. So a lot of people have trouble accepting my views. I get a lot of WhatsApp text, YouTube comments. Not that I reply to all of them, but anyway, one or two cases I do. And so I do not regret this, because even though after I started showing myself as I am to the world, I mean to my YouTube viewers at least, uh, yeah, uh, I've lost a couple of friendships. They were never true friends in the first place, but yeah, I've lost a couple of, and that's actually a good thing, because it takes the burden off my shoulder. I don't have the obligation. I never felt felt obliged to reply to some texts or something, or of anyone, especially of my age. But it's even better. It's a kind of a weight lifted from your chest, if you know what I mean. I'm being very honest, because I don't care about hiding the bad parts in me and showing the good parts. That's not what I'm doing the video for. In this video, I will tell whatever comes to my mind, and I'm telling you, it will be 50%. I don't know if it will be exactly 50%, but it will be a combination of both the good and bad. So I'll be showing myself as I am, and I will not be changing myself based on what you guys see. If I'll be changing myself based on what I say to myself. So I'm just saying this because I get a lot of questions, lot of emails, lot of texts, lot of comments, lot of messages, even LinkedIn DMs. I don't know, do people use LinkedIn for discussing nihilism? That was not the picture of LinkedIn I had in my mind when I joined LinkedIn many years back. It's a professional networking site. Anyway, I get a lot of texts, and I don't know why people are so much interested in nihilism, especially in my views, because do they have no other work to do? That's the feeling I get. But since I get these questions, I'll be sharing my views very clearly, and also addressing some misconceptions in this video. So if you're interested, you can watch. If not, don't watch. I have nothing to say, because I never begged for subscribers from day one, and today I have 982 986 subscribers. And if you're listening to this, I know maybe 5 or 6 of you will maybe unsubscribe just to show your wrath on me, just to vent out your jealousy, or I don't know what. Because lately there are some incidents have happened in my life which have opened my eyes, and let me tell you, I'm very glad they happened, but I'm still coping it. I'm not coping, but I'm still coming to terms with it. So maybe I might sound a bit resentful in this video. I don't care about that. But I don't know, maybe if tomorrow I wake up and see my subscriber count has dropped to 800, I don't care about it. It dropped to zero, although that is very unlikely, I don't care about that as well. Uh, yeah, so because there is no point in thinking about what others can do to you, because that's not in your control. It's better to stop thinking about that and grow improve the control you have over yourself, and also over your works, which I have tried to do over the last few years. So no, the question is, do I regret showing my true self to my YouTube or to my WhatsApp, in my WhatsApp statuses and all? No, I don't, because if I did not do this, maybe I would have a lot more people would be on friendly terms with me, and maybe a short term I would be feeling very much accepted among my peers, among my whatever friends, to put it that way. But that would be a fake, I should say, that would be a mirror, because I am also wearing a mask. I am also not showing my true self to them, and of course they are also wearing a mask. Now when I show my true self, they don't want to open the masks, because most people don't want to open their masks, right? But the comments I make, they are so brutal and so glaringly obvious and true, and sometimes they are very much unacceptable, and I don't know, maybe they wake up that existential fear in someone. I cannot tell about someone else, but maybe at least I've got this impression for a few of you. I cannot say about all of you, and that's what makes them react in a way, and that is actually good, because that was my intention. I want to expose the true nature of people. And I've done this kind of social experiments with a lot of people. If you know me in college, if you are one of my college classmates, you can tell them this is not a crime. This is, I'm not doing anything illegal. But my point is, if you want to judge a human being, what he or she is really like, what they are really like, you have to subject them to some unusual conditions, maybe behave strangely with them, or do this or do that. Otherwise you cannot get their true nature. If I give you a chemical compound, And if I tell you that do some experiments and tell me whether this compound contains that particular chemical, that particular element, you cannot just look at it and tell me. You have to either do some experiment, you have to either do a litmus test to say it's an acid or a base. You might have to do heat it, and then you see whether you get this kind of smell or something. The chemistry guys will be able to tell you better, but I think you get the idea. In science and in general, to know the true hidden nature of someone or something, this applies to both living and non-living matter, you have to subject it to some particular specific conditions, controlled experiments. And the same goes with humans. If you're not doing anything, if you're just maintaining a superficially good relation, then they will also be good to you, and you cannot form a conclusion that they are your true friends just based on that. Show them your true colors, and if they can accept you after that, they are your friends. Otherwise, just forget them. And that's my philosophy anyway. But of course, a lot of people find it very difficult to forget their friends, and they go. And one more thing which I noticed was that in the current generation, at least, because this I noticed in people of my age group, they have this tendency to show that that they are different from the rest, while they are, as see, I can actually claim that I am different from the rest, but I won't make that claim, because that would be like, why should I myself make that claim? But if I'm being very honest with you, even at the cost of sounding a bit, I don't know, a bit over proud or something, like self pride, or like bit arrogant or something. But I'm not arrogant. But this, I think I can confidently say that I am actually much more different from the rest. But a lot of people in the claim that they are, oh, I am different from the rest. I am this, I am that. I have self respect. What they call self respect is actually their oversized ego, which has no justification. Okay, I have seen this in many times. I have experienced this. A lot of people will say I have experienced. I am 20 years. People of my age, I'm telling, I am 20 years old. I have gone through a lot. Well, I have gone through way more than many of you. I won't say most of you or all of you, of course, but many of you in these 21 years. In my professional life, I have taken some steps which none of you, many of you have not taken. I am directing these comments not to my YouTube viewers, to some of my college classmates, if I put it that. Of course, I cannot take names. I will not take names, but so don't take it personally. And if you do, I don't care. Again, but the steps that I've taken from class 12, from class 11, or last 6 years, maybe last six, actually 7 years, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Uh, a lot of people have defied the convention. I know that. Maybe not all of you are just that mugging up and getting good marks in the exam type. Some of you have done some original work, original project, internships. Well, the internships doesn't really set you apart. Even going to a good university doesn't really set you apart. I have applied to a lot of universities for masters in the Europe and all. It's really not. It's much easier to get admission there than institutes in India, like the top institutes in India. IITs and all, because that's actually much easier. Getting a scholarship is difficult, of course, but getting admission is also. If you look at the profile, I go to that. So those rankings, those stuff. What you do there is what defines you. And in my experience, the people I know, most of the internships they have done are guided projects under supervisors, and that was a very much like guided project. Without the guidance, the project would not be half as good. I can tell you this. In my case, if you look at my profile, I currently work. I'm working, and this paper will be published in the next few days. Actually, I currently am working on an emotional modeling project, and it was like 4 coupled differential equations. 2 of them model the internal emotion of an individual, and the other 2 equations model the relationship between 2 individuals. It's a dyadic model, simple model, dyadic model between. We have only 2 individuals in our initial scenario. So how they feel towards each other, happy, friends, enemy, and how they themselves feel, whether they feel happy or sad or angry. So those are the cases I considered, and the beauty of my model is I don't take it otherwise that I'm saying it myself, but it took a lot of time. And I did this project in only 15 days, and I did not take the help of any supervisor. It was an independent project. I recently came back from Chennai Institute of Mathematical Sciences, IMSc Chennai, after doing an internship project there, and that was on a nonlinear dynamics project that will also be published in the next few. I don't know. It's a lot backlog actually, but I'll try to publish it as soon as possible. But this project I completed. The idea came to me, and then I finished writing the report in under 15 or let's say 17 days. If it takes 2 or 3 more days, it would be 17 days or something. So without any supervision or whatsoever, I just took the help of internet to study, to look at some real psychological experiment to match I plotted the time series of my equations, and I had to match it with some data, right? With some actual psychological data. How does emotional damping, emotional regulation, emotional noise can come from mood swings, hormonal fluctuations, a lot of things. Relationship noise can come from third party rumors, a lot of things. So all these things you have to model. And how do you do this? You write a differential equation. It has a stochastic term, because these kind of systems, when you're modeling, you need a stochastic term usually. By stochastic term, I simply mean a noise term. And noise means it's random. So at every time step, it's you take that, you randomly choose a noise or something. This noise is too much, because you cannot exactly predict the hormonal fluctuations or mood swings in a human. Maybe in principle you can, but as of now, medical sense cannot do that. So we have to take it, model it as a random element in our model, right? We have to simulate it as a random element in our model. And so it's a stochastic nonlinear coupled differential equation, very complex systems. And in my model, even though it's a dyadic model, I have 144 cases, 144 scenarios, because to keep things general, I did not assume what most other emotional models do. So I did not assume that if two individuals like each other, that the amount of liking is equal, it's symmetric. No. In my model, you could have a case where maybe A likes B, but B hates A. It's possible. One-sided attraction is very common in human society, in real life human relationships. So in my case, there is no symmetry. I mean, there is asymmetry, there is emotional discordance, emotional concordance, and a lot of realistic behavior. And I've also matched it with experimental data. I'll maybe share a link in the description if I remember, because or anyway, you can always go to my ResearchGate or Google Scholar or my website, and you can look at the publication, because I always, I'm a supporter of open science, and I will be publishing the preprint, the full text PDF will be available. I don't believe in that publishing through journals and like peer-reviewed journals which are very conventional, which or journals which charge money. Those are even worse. So you can see it. I have no intention of hiding my research. You can see it. You can read it, right? So that is the point. And after my college ended, after my undergraduate degree ended, in the last 3 months, I think it's not even 3 months, 2.5 months as of today. I did 2 projects which were totally independent, and one of them is already published. You can check it out. It's on the quantum mechanical and temporal origins of entropy. Although this is not a very data-oriented project, it's more a speculation. But it's not just philosophy. I have given a kind of hypothesis based on scientifically grounded hypothesis. It's based on entropy, Adolf time. It's kind of intersection between quantum mechanics and statistical mechanics. And that was an 86 pages long report, mind you, even longer than my official BS bachelor's undergraduate dissertation, which was on path integral formulation of quantum mechanics. And the second is emotions, which is about to be published. It's almost done. So it's just some final touches in the report. And one official guided project I did at Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Chennai. It's on whatever. So point is, the why I'm saying all this is that the people, if you, most of the people who maybe they have done some guided internships, that too in some very conventional like areas, like everything is being fed to them. So this is the data you have, this is the thing you have to do, you just have to see what happens. And that, I mean, that is kind of like a, I mean, I'm not saying that is bad, because everyone should explore these things. But the ego some of these guys show, having done these projects, is not acceptable to me, because you have done nothing original. My emotion model is something, it's an original model. I did not take help from any existing model. I only took help from some existing psychological data from some psychological experiments or psychological observations, like what actually happens in human relationships. But I did not take the mathematical, when I was framing my equations, adding terms, subtracting terms, seeing, and it was a long process. It's not like the equations came to me and oh my god, it works. It's not as simple as that. It didn't happen overnight. So it's an original model. It's not a very accurate model, because I only considered 2 human cases, but at least it works very well for this dyadic case. And maybe I will be exploring some possible extensions for more than 2 humans. That's for the future. The point is, maybe I'm speaking very incoherently in this video, but I want to cover one or two more points. I don't know if you're still listening to this video after so long. It's 18 minutes already, but still, since I've started, let me finish. Let me go on, continue. If I finish, I think it will take even 10 or 15 more minutes, if I'm being honest. Now, anyway, so yeah, I don't regret being myself, or at least showing myself to publicly, or to my so-called friends, because that actually exposed a lot of. I claim that nihilism. Nihilism, it helps you maintain an unbiased attitude towards everything, kind of. I still believe that. I cited that as one of the reasons I follow nihilism, not the pessimistic nihilism but at least it keeps my emotions grounded. It doesn't let my emotions get too high or too low, and it actually helps to get to detach myself from the surrounding. But one more very, I haven't thought of this previously, but one more, let's put it that way, it's kind of a sarcastic, but yeah, One more, let's say, benefit of nihilism is that nihilism can be used to expose people. I mean, if you're a true believer of nihilism, and if you really understand nihilism, nihilism is not something which you can understand by reading books or watching YouTube videos or just that kind of thing. You have to feel it. So you have to, first of all, you have to think about these existential questions. The ultimate question: what is that? Who am I? Why do I exist? Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum." So cogito ergo sum is like you have to feel it. Oh, everyone knows how Descartes said, "I think, therefore I am." He was a philosopher, blah blah blah. But and most of the, in my experience, most of the people, they do not think about these questions. What, like, either they do not get the time or they do not have the motivation. Let me just live a normal life. I'll just I will chase success, money, status, and the conventional path, conventional success ladder. They don't have time to think about, and it's not only time, they also don't have the mindset. Because initially I used to think that, oh my god, everyone should be curious about these questions. We are here, this such a complex machinery, such a complex human body. Everyone should be curious. Because sometimes I think that we should fall sick more often. We even today, in the physics of life, in biological physics, we don't understand even how a single cell works. Eukaryotic human cell with 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes, DNA, the structure, histone. So how exactly did this self organization, self assembly happen, and how come this is sustained and this can carry out the functions, and then this differentiation? We all it all began with one cell when we were in our mother's womb, but then along with cell division, now that itself is a very big question. How come these chromosomes and they divide? And one possible answer might lie in entropy, because polymer segregation has already been studied by physicists using entropy and that kind of thing. Now we don't know the answer, but at least it's a very interesting question. Like, why does it happen? And how does it happen? From a single cell it starts dividing, and then this differentiation, some cells become your eyes, some cells become your lungs, some cells become your heart, it's such a complicated human body, billions of cells, and yet we somehow, in most cases, except a few unfortunate cases, we manage to live a normal existence for 70-80 years without falling seriously sick. We fall sick, but that's not serious. We don't die. But if you think about it, this complex structure, even if there is a slight mismatch, slight irregularity, we should fall seriously sick. That's what we would statistically expect, but that doesn't happen. Now, of course, it does happen. Suppose today my blood report is okay, my ECG report is okay, but if it's monitored for a long time, there will be irregularities. But whenever there is some irregularity in one part of your body, in one functioning of your body, the other parts will automatically adjust themselves, coordinate themselves in such a way that overall you maintain a very self-sustained and healthy body. It's very surprising, right? And then the ultimate question, how this all came about. We all agree that it all came from atoms and molecules, which are by themselves non-living. They're just non-living dead matter following the laws of quantum mechanics, laws of physics. But when they come together and self-assemble in complex way, oh my god, we suddenly get this complex, interesting behavior called life and consciousness, of which we understand neither head nor tail as of today. And it's very interesting because self-assembly, we even learned self-assembly in class 12 chemistry. If you're from India, you'll be able to relate. Of course, they don't use the term self-assembly, but when the soap, the soap we use to clean our clothes. So when you mix soap in water, what happens? We form these structures called micelles, right? So the soap has, the soap constituents of the soap, they has a hydrophobic tail and a hydrophilic head. If I remember right, I might not be saying the exact, but I think you'll get the idea. So one end of it loves water, wants to be in touch with water, and the other end of it hates water. Repels water, does not want to be in touch with water. So these kind of structures. Now, if you have a huge concentration of such structures inside water, that is soap inside water, automatically, not because of any external force or anything, automatically they will arrange into a sphere, where the outside of the sphere, the outer surface, are all those structures that want to be in touch with water, and their tails will be in the inner surface of the sphere, so that it's shielded from the water, because they want to repel water, they want to stay away from water. So if you try to think about it a bit, if you try to imagine a bit, visualize a bit, the sphere is the best possible configuration. There are no other possible shapes or configuration that these molecules can arrange, which will maximize the contact of the water loving part with water and minimize the contact of the water hating part with water. So this structure formed by itself, all these constituents, they assembled into these micelles by themselves. It's a self-assembly. We see the same thing in a much more complex scale in I don't know, in biological chromosomes, polymers, whatever. I'm not very sure about the details, technical details. So yeah, it's very surprising. So the point is, at one point of time I used to think, oh my god, maybe each and every human being thinks about this question, because I believed that this asking questions and this existentialism, it's a basic property of human beings. It's in the blood of human beings, and I know a lot of people who actually are just as curious as me, as passionate as me, if not more, about these questions. But my initial assumption that most humans are very much curious about the ultimate questions, I think I cannot prove, but I think that's not true, because a lot of people I meet, the people, they're such so narrow minded that they find my views on nihilism and all, they find it very like pessimistic, and they're so egotistical and so narrow minded that I rarely think that such a mind can form, that can really comprehend this vast question of existentialism. Maybe they can give WhatsApp statuses. Descartes has said, "I think, therefore I am." So I am a great philosopher. That's a different thing. But actually realizing this, I don't think, uh, because after all, they seek or they chase these conventional success, conventional dreams, conventional I want, and all this conventional success ladder. I just told a couple of minutes back, right? And then I realized that okay, maybe it was a mistake on my part to expect that they would understand my views, or at least see my views. I'm not claiming my views to be correct, they may be wrong, but they're just my personal views. And I think when we talk about existentialism, there is nothing objectively right or wrong. There's a lot of subjectivity here. So yeah, my views are mine, your views are yours, but at least I thought that these people would at least could understand my views, even if they may not agree with them. I was disappointed on that, but I was on a different note. I was very relieved that my nihilistic posts and WhatsApp statuses expose this what they really are, and that they are not the kind of person I should hang around with, or I should even maintain a contact with. I don't care what they achieve in life. I don't care whether they end up to be more successful than that, because as I already told you, becoming successful by the conventional standards of society is no longer important to me. I already told you. Yeah, I still get a lot of emails, a lot of texts. I believe there are a few people still who love. I won't say love me, but who are inspired by me, and at least whose respect for my works and for my views, for my passion is genuine. There are a few people, but you know what I've noticed, and this is very fun. I don't know if it's funny, but uh, my friendship with the older people. I mean, people who are not my age, with professors, researchers, and even in some cases not professors, or not even related to physics, but some old people. Maybe I met them on the I don't know, like I am always much more at ease speaking with older people than with people of my age, which might sound very strange, but crazy, but it's true for me at least. Because I have a lot of friends, online friends, as well as like friends with whom, like old friends. There maybe some of them are of the age of my grandfather maybe, but I can speak freely and they can appreciate me because they have experienced a lot of life and they know better than to whatever. But but whenever I talk with people of my age, except one or two, most people of my age, I'm like it's a waste of time. And I tried to give maybe I thought some of them were better than the other or genuine, and I gave them a lot of chances. In the sense, I decided to okay, talk a little more, and they were ultimately none of them passed the, if I put it, passed my test. I'm not saying this to out of ego or something. Yes, ego is very important. Ego is like a double-edged sword. Ego is very important if you use it the right way, because I have a lot of ego. I do admit that, but I never use that ego to justify my views when I know I am wrong. People who know me will tell you, especially in academic circles and professional circles, there are a lot of instances where I have admitted publicly that my views were wrong, my that claim of mine was wrong, even to people who were younger than me. So that's not ego. I mean, that is not the place I show my ego. If I am wrong, I am ready to accept it. I don't show my ego there unnecessarily. But when I say I have ego, it's like if somebody says that I cannot do something, then I will somehow do it. No matter how many sleepless nights that means or whatever, I will somehow do it. In that sense, I have ego. But a lot of people I'm seeing, especially of my age, the young generation, the point I was about to make, but somehow got carried away in a different direction. Let me make it now. I have said similar stuff in my previous videos also, but now I think this needs to be said more clearly than ever, and this is a very strong advice. So if you're a young generation, maybe you should think. I'm not saying you should follow me, because who am I? I'm not the ruler of the world. So why should you follow me? But my sincere request to you, I'm not trying to impose my views. My sincere request to you is try to think about what I'm saying. Try to think about it. If after thinking deeply, if you think okay, what I'm saying might be somewhat true, you may follow it. It's up to you. But at least try to think about it. If all of us we decided to think for ourselves instead of letting the narratives shape the way we see the world would be a much better place. I don't know how to. There was one person I knew long back, not long back, when I was in, I don't know, class 11, 12, something, 4 years back. 4 years back, and I don't know what happened to her because we haven't been out of touch for the last 4 years. But and I cannot share any details, but likely she was killed in one of the wars. And for the last few years, the wars that are happening all over the earth, in all over the earth actually, especially in the Europe, Middle East, and all, Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, and all. I don't want to go into the political detail. I'm not an expert on that, and I don't need to also. But that was a very huge shock for me, and I don't know. I'm getting a bit. Maybe I should change the topic. But after that, I realized not only how futile human existence is, but how little is in our hands. Because she was of my age, and probably the only person I knew. I can't say I know because probably she's no more alive. But the only person I knew who was of my age, and yet with whom I get along pretty well, and who could understand my views and appreciate me for what I am. Not appreciate me because I have published a book, because I have founded a journal, because I have published a lot of papers, because I have done this, because I've done that. Not that kind of appreciation. Who would appreciate me for who I am, both my good and my bad. And I did the same for her, I hope, I think. And the kind of discussions we had about physics, both of us were very physics nerds. And I still haven't deleted our chats. Sometimes I take a look at that. Now, anyway, the reason I'm saying this is that, forget that. The reason I'm saying this is that in today's generation, what I'm saying, this is very rare. This kind of is very rare. What I'm saying is that they have two defining features of the current generation, in my experience. Not that I have talked with a lot of people, but still, compared to students of my age, I have interacted with a lot of people. But if you consider both online and offline interactions, and it's like they have, number one, they have a tendency to create problems to escape. Let me explain what I mean by this. They often have this tendency of making a big issue out of a small thing. Like, I will not back down because I have ego, I have self-respect. Now, what they call self-respect is actually unjustified ego in their case, in 99% cases. No, I won't say, I can't say for 100%, but in most cases it's like it's unjustified ego, oversized ego, which they disguise under this term called self-respect. And nowadays the society has become such a, this human rights and all these terminologies, all these self-respect, this, that, all these human right activists, these movements. I think somewhere we are losing the basic, I don't know how to put it. I think somewhere we're losing the basic sense of humanity. People say I am not all of them, but some people say I am like an emotionless robot. I am inhuman because I believe in nihilism. Because they have a very misconception about nihilism, and they have neither the interest nor the intellectual capability or capacity to understand what I actually mean by those quotes, comments, posts, whatever. And my question to them would be the ones who give statuses about human rights, and they think that they are the only ones who are doing something for humanity, and people like me are emotionless robots. My question to you would be, I'm ready to debate this with you for hours if you're ready to take up the challenge. Would be a public debate on YouTube, not a kind of a WhatsApp debate or anything, because I have a lot of important stuff to do. And see, you don't even understand what humanity is. To you, humanity is something which can be written down in some points. These are the fundamental human rights. This right to that, and that is humanity. If all these rights are satisfied, then humanity is satisfied. That's not the case. Those rights are very important. But humanity is more than that. Humanity cannot be understood, cannot be written down on a piece of paper point-wise. You have to understand what is humanity. You have to feel it. I'm pretty sure these guys who give these WhatsApp statuses and all that, we should stop wars, we should stop climate change, we should do something for humanity. They don't feel for the people who are actually affected by these disasters. They just give the status because that is the way they think, and in some cases they do it even to appear I don't know, acceptable and appear responsible to their peers, but they don't actually feel or even try to think what it actually feels like to be in the place of the ones who are actually facing these things. Do you really care about the lot of people die because they don't have enough food to eat? A lot of people are begging in the roadside. A lot of people have no clothes to wear in the winter and they're just sitting in the footpaths. Do you care about that? You don't. So then how can you like then why do you, if there is a simple issue, maybe somebody made some unacceptable comment on social media and out of that you made a big sensational story, like this is not a right acceptable comment, this is violation of human rights, and that is not violation of human rights. Just because you have a food and you have shelter over your heads, you don't think about those guys. So where is your humanity then? Where is your humanity then? Because you cannot do anything about that. There are millions of people, homeless people who don't have enough food, so you cannot go and give food to each of them. So that's why should I think about that, right? But then why will I sensational, why will I blow up an ordinary issue just to dramatize the incident? Because that will give me likes and views and followers on my social media. That will give me a public exposure. That is what you actually do. And if I upload, this is the first time I'm doing a video like this on my YouTube, and if I did this more frequently, I'm pretty sure even though there would be controversy, I would have reached 1,000 subscribers long back. It took me 6 years to reach 980 subscribers, 980, or I think right now it's 984 or 85, whatever. But I have always been true to myself. The content I've uploaded, I have said what I believe, not just to. I've never said things that people want to hear, just to create controversies or to create a fake sense of like just to create a fake to get accepted to my viewers. Look, let me put it very clearly. I don't care who you are, whether you are a Nobel laureate, whether you are whoever you are. There is the world has gone so far. I feel sometimes I won't say I'm a pessimist. I'm neither an optimist nor a pessimist, but maybe sometimes I feel optimistic about the future, because the reason is humanity is currently going through a transition, and although currently the state of the world looks very bad, very, I don't know, very, but I think we will get over this, because these transition periods, these volatile inequilibrium periods, they don't last long. And I hope that once humanity reaches the other side of this transition, we will be at a better place. I can only hope. But sometimes I can't help but think the way today's these mindless zombies who claim themselves to be the sole people who understand humanity, and to say that somebody who posts about nihilism doesn't understand anything about humanity, is an emotionless robot. I think these kind of people are at the root of a lot of problems in society today, and I don't care who you are. See, maybe if I am directing this to some specific persons, and if you're watching this video, I don't know. Maybe you're watching this video, but I don't think you have time to watch the video. You are much more you are much more busy proving that you are different from the rest, proving that you are misfits, while you are well, you fit as easily into the ordinary, common, and this class as obvious. Yet you claim that you are a misfit. So probably not watching this video, watching the video especially this long. Now is 37 minutes. But if you are, again, I don't care. Go ahead, open your YouTube channel, or you go to your socials and just do whatever you criticize me in every way possible. Nobody is preventing you. I don't care about that. I have had enough of this nonsense. Because this success in physics, I get a lot of people are getting inspired by my writings and my works. I am doing a lot of original research without supervision and all. Feels good up to a point. And physics is still meaningful to me. Maybe the only thing that is meaningful to me. Because human connections are no longer meaningful to me, except my parents and mainly my parents and a few professors and all. But apart from that, I don't think I don't care about what awards I'm getting, what prizes I'm getting, and what recognition I'm getting from a society, 90% of which is comprised of people like this. This needs to be said. I hesitated a bit before recording this video, but I thought no, I should say this. People out there need to hear me, need to hear what I'm saying, even if this might be much radical and much, I don't know, maybe controversial or whatever. I'm ready for what comes next, but I will go ahead and share my feelings. Sorry, my views, not my feelings, my views, objective views. And maybe I'm wrong, but in that I request you that if some of my views are wrong, you can just comment it. No, not hateful comments, constructive criticism, please. Because currently the world needs humanity. The world does not need drama in the name of humanity. The world needs real humanity, which is very, very lacking, especially in today's young generation, in my experience. And I'm So I said there are two features of today's young generation, right? One is this, that they have this habit of making a big issue out of a small thing, while they ignore the real problems. Yeah. Second thing is that this they will do anything to feel or to get accepted to their peers, and they will go any lengths to satisfy their ego. And this is unjustified ego, which they claim to be self-respect. This is not the ego I was talking about, that I have, that I won't impose my views on anyone, but my ego is like, if somebody says that I cannot do something, I will just somehow do it and show them that I can do something. That kind of ego is, I think, still acceptable to some extent, but not this. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. And I said a lot of stuff in this video which I should have done a long back, because the weight of this realization, this, on one hand you have the weight of expectation, but this physics stuff, I'm telling from my case, because once you are a little different from the rest, you have to maintain that, otherwise it's very difficult. Not just so that everyone will respect you and admire you, not just because of that. I don't care about whether people respect me or admire me. After this video I'll get a lot of hate, I even know that. I'm ready for that. One is that, and apart from that, you also have this existential pressure, existential burden, which most ordinary people of my age don't have. Some people do, but they are the minority. And the third is that it really pains me to see, as a lot of people I have seen, the way they live their lives, the struggle that they have gone through. I mean, not just homeless people, but even people who apparently they have a home and stuff, but the way they have been wronged by nature, by humans, by society. And then on one hand you have these drama queens and kings. Not just queens, drama queens and kings. Drama queen is a term, so I said it first, but I have no bias. So again, don't make an issue out of this, please. I have had too much experience with today's generation. Okay. Each and every word I say in the videos, not just I am just an ordinary people, especially the celebrities, they will be more, each and every word they say, each and every post they make a big issue out of it, big controversy out of it, for likes, for more following. There are a lot of problems that need to be solved in today's world, not just physics, science, lot of problems. Try to utilize your time in those instead of doing this nonsense, doing this bullshit. Okay. So that's all. And so to clarify, I am a nihilist. Yeah, I am a nihilist, and I mean, I'm not going to change my views because of whatever you guys are saying. And again, I'm directing this not to my YouTube viewers, and I mean, at least not to most of my YouTube viewers, but to certain specific people. That's just my, yeah. And so I also get this question a lot. I don't know if this is the correct video to say this, because very few will be watching the video till this 42 minutes, but I get this question a lot. How to do, like, if I want to be a physicist, I am currently a class 11 student, class 10 student, I am very much inspired by your works, I want to be a physicist, I want to be a theoretical physicist, what should I do? Advise me. Well, this is a very valid question. Now I shouldn't answer this question in a very like angry mood or something. This is a valid question, it's a very important question. And the people who are asking these questions, if you have taken the trouble to write an email to someone like me, who is not even a physicist himself, just a student, that shows that you at least don't have ego, and you want to learn, which is a very valid attitude. Of course, I am really not the best person for advice, because I am myself learning, but okay, this is very much different from whatever I have discussed in this video so far. But yeah, if I tell you that way, you know what, I should make a different video about this. I think I need a break right now. I have had I'm still not sure what kind of reaction I'll be getting from your side after I post this video. But at least I know that it would be nothing that is that I cannot deal with. At this point, I've stopped caring a lot. And to the people who tell me that hey, I am also 21 years old, I have also gone through a lot, I have more experience in this than you. Maybe you are good at physics, but you are not good at this. You believe in nihilism and you are an emotionless robot. Let me tell you, if you get mental peace by making these comments about me, go ahead. You don't just tell me, you just post it on social media. Just do whatever you can. Don't comment on my videos, please. I don't like those kind of extra distraction. Open your YouTube channel, or if you have any other, like, I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, just go ahead and do that. I don't care. If you get satisfaction by saying these things out loud, go ahead and do that. I don't care. But I know that whatever I am saying, I have realized it to be objectively true, and I have had debates about this with with some of you, not a lot of it, some of you. Objectively, nobody has been able to prove me wrong. I mean, nobody has been able to change my view objectively. The debate starts with both of us giving our views, and then the other person is like, you will not understand, you were always into physics, nihilism, objective, you will not understand emotions, just get lost. No, okay. If understanding emotions means dramatizing incidents and ignoring the real problem, then I want to be an emotionless robot. Thank you very much. Then if that is the definition of humanity, then I don't want to be human. You go to hell with your humanity, you go to hell with your emotions, you go to hell with your fake social media profile, you go to hell with your so-called friends, you go to hell with your so-called success with your so-called profile. I don't give a damn about that. Because I'm not dependent on any of you for anything. And I have carved out a path for myself for the last 6 years, for the last 7 years, which very few people have done. And I'm not saying this just to, I'm not bragging or anything, I'm not flexing or anything, but it's actually true. There are high school students who write books. There are high school students who open journals, who found journals and also maintain that for 5-6 years. There are high school students who do this kind of original research work. So many in without supervision. There are high school students who have done this and that, but the number is very less. And they are not, especially those 2-3 persons I have in mind. I'm saying this too. You guys are not one of them, at least. That is crystal clear. So don't try to intimidate me with your experience and with your philosophy and with your logic. Because I have maybe we are of the same age, but I have analyzed the world differently from you. You have lived the ordinary human life. You want friends, you want to get accepted to society, you want success, the conventional measures of success, you want praise, and all the things that a human that normally wants because of evolutionary instincts. That is the life you have led, that is the path you have followed for yourself. In most cases. And maybe when you have done something out of the ordinary, you have claimed that I'm a misfit, I'm different, I am unique, I'm the most unique creature to ever exist. And you have dramatized everything at each and every instant of time. I have not done that. And this I can claim, this I can say confidently, genuinely. After what I have gone through the last 6 years, I did not found the Journal of Young Physicists because of fame or anything. I was really passionate about creating a platform for young physicists, and today we have over a lot of monthly site visitors, over 90 plus publications, and a huge team. And there are people who submit their original work to us. There are people who trust us. There are people who choose us to get their work in physics published. That is real impact. I don't post a lot of stuff on social media about human rights activism or about emotions and about. I don't go on social media and troll people who talk about nihilism. I do my own thing. I have never given a damn about changing myself or adjusting myself just so to become acceptable in the eyes of others. That's why I have always been singled out. I don't have a lot of friends, and even if I have friends, I find it very difficult to maintain a good relationship for maybe more than 3 or 4 months. Yeah, I know that, and I like it the way it is, because there are still some people, some professors, some old people, and my parents, of course, who understand me through thick and thin, and I'm happy with that. You are not such a significant creature that I want you to understand me. Because a frog that had lived its entire life in a well cannot understand what an ocean wave looks like. And if I try to pull the frog out of the well and throw it in the ocean, it will not want that, or it will die. It will not survive in the ocean. That's the harsh reality. And this is, I have never spoken like this in any of my previous YouTube videos. I am feeling very much disturbed today mentally because of these reactions, and also because of some, what is going on in the world around us. This is not the way it should be. Maybe, yeah, I'm not saying we are nearing an apocalypse. We will go through this. This is a transition period. Wars has happened in human history. Human civilization have survived wars. I'm not saying we're going extinct, but we should try to change, because this is not acceptable. This may not be the end of us, but this is still not acceptable. That is all I want to say in this video. And if you think I'm wrong, go do whatever you can to criticize me. I don't care about this. But I still wanted to post this video, and I'm doing it on my channel, so I have the right to do that. If you want to go ahead and criticize or do, just do it. Just do it. Leave me alone. So be it found in the Journal of Young Physicists or be it writing I didn't write the book Our Physics so far to get so that I could brag, see, I have a published book. That cannot give a student enough motivation to write a 360-page book being a class 11 student along with all his studies and all. I didn't realize it back then, because back then it seemed like the most obvious thing to me, but now I realize that all those sleepless nights and the work I did, when I look at the book now, that is the simple motivation that I want to become famous, or among my friends people who say that guy is an author, that simply that cannot be cannot motivate such a young person enough to write a book. I wrote my book because I knew that it's a very unique blend of physics and my own personal thoughts. And if I decided to write the book after become a qualified physicist, after I do my PhD or postdoc, by that time I will neither have the time nor have the mindset to write this book as the way I can. So I initially never thought my book will sell this many copies. It is, I won't say it's a bestseller, but it has sold a lot of copies, which is way beyond my expectations, honestly. But initially when I published the book, my only intention was I want to see my own thoughts in a published format, so that maybe after 10 years, 20 years, I could myself go through it and I could look at the younger Arpan. That was the only intention. A lot of people have gave me positive comments. Some people even they have started exploring physics because of my book. And that's the best an author can ask for. So there are some people who genuinely respect my works. I'm happy with them. And when it comes to physics, I will always be there to help people, because I want to know the truth. And truth cannot be, at least today, the kind of problems we're facing today, interdisciplinary research, truth cannot be found out in isolation. Credit doesn't matter. No, I will be the one to find the truth. That is not a true seeker of truth. That means I care more about my own fame. No, I am the one who found the truth. I care more about that than actually knowing the truth. No. If you really want to know the truth, you should popularize physics and talk to more people and try to get more young students interested in physics and try to talk with the more researchers, because it doesn't matter who found the truth. It doesn't matter who got the Nobel Prize or who has how many publications and how many citations and what age index. What matters is we get one step closer towards knowing the truth, and we can appreciate nature in a much more beautiful way, instead of doing all this bullshit and engaging in all this rat race and competition that 99% students do today. I hope you understand. And even PhD. That reminds me, let me end this video with this note. Even PhD, I don't know about other parts of the world, but yeah, more or less, no education system is perfect, no country is perfect, but at least in let me not take names, but in some parts of the world, my father has experienced it. My father was doing his PhD, but he didn't complete his PhD. You know why? Because my father's subject is economics, not physics or anything, economics, and he was studying the data about administration and development, infrastructure and all of different districts in my state. And he was doing a data analysis and statistical analysis to find some patterns and stuff. That was his research. But where is this data coming from? The government of India publishes, I think most governments in the world do this, not just the government of India. They publish a statistical handbook kind of thing every year, or I don't know, annually or something, most likely annually they publish it, about these facts and figures. Like, okay, in this year, this district has done this, some facts and figures. Okay, you understand, statistical handbook. Now, let me tell you, I won't be verifying. I mean, if you don't want to believe me, that's totally fine. But let me tell you, most of this data is manipulated. It's not like actually verified or measured, or the surveys and all. Surveys are done just for the sake of showing that we're doing something. But most of this data, they are just like manipulated. I mean, people just this. So this data which you're working on is itself not authentic. So then my father questioned that. Even if my father also had a few papers, but he didn't complete his full project, because he said even if I complete the project, maybe I will be able to write doctor before my name. I will be a PhD in economics and I will be maybe I will have a good publication and stuff, and people will say, oh, he's a doctor. But that's not really meaningful research. You are giving so much effort to do data analysis, but your data is itself not authentic, not original, it's manipulated. What is the meaning? What are you contributing to society by that research? That is the reason he decided to do something independently and not follow the conventional path of PhD and then job in a college or university. He did something in his own, and he has his own institute, and he teaches on his own, not as part of any college or university or any established institutions, because he cannot stand dishonesty and corruption, which unfortunately is prevalent in many educational institutions in India, and I think in some other countries as well. If I give a very unbiased view, other countries as well. And he cannot stand corruption, and this way of, today he lives a very stable life in his own way. Now this attitude of defying the convention and doing what, you know, like not going the conventional path of success, and doing something on my own independently. I think my father is where I got this from, because be it my book or my journal or whatever other stuff I have done, first of all I had to think that I will do this, and that is where most people lack. If other people of my age could think of that, then maybe there would be 100 JY Journal of Young Physicists in the world. There would be 100 such books in the world. There would be 100 such projects that I do in the world. But most people don't even dare to think. First step, and a major step, is thinking. That first you have to think and believe that no, I can do it. Start working. I am not gifted. At least I don't think I'm gifted. My only specialty, I differ from others, because I can think what others don't dare to think. The rest is action, and that is not nothing, just ordinary action, not action that other people will not be capable of. So in that sense, I don't think I'm gifted or anything, but I can think stuff, daring stuff which might appear daring or kind of, you know, like unrealistic to other people of my age. That's the only difference. There is nothing special about me apart from that. So yeah, like I was talking about some advice to you. If you want to become a physicist, you ask me for some advice. Maybe we'll do it in a different video. But physicists or not, at least if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, because I got a very angry and very emotional in the middle. But if you are not one of those two people, those guys I will not name, but if they're watching, they will understand that I mean them. But if you're not them, then please don't mind, because I shouldn't have misbehaved with my viewers, at least, because a lot of people view my videos, not only those guys. But yeah, still, whoever you are, regardless of whether you are them or not, please try to think. If you have ego, you don't have to admit to me. Still, try to think. Try to talk to yourself. Is this really the way it should be? And believing in an unbiased and meaningless existence without harming anyone, does it really mean that I am an inhuman robot, and the stuff that today's young generation is doing, and the stuff the world is going, actually, these wars and stuff, is it really the way it should be? Maybe there is little you can do to stop wars. If you're a common people, you are not a president or something. But still, think about it. It's very important for humans to start thinking for themselves. Even if they start thinking for themselves, it would work wonders. Action comes later. But don't say that I cannot do anything, so I will not even think about that. No. You have a right to think. Don't talk to people about it if you feel uncertain, because today in social media, if you post stuff like this, it's very, very dangerous. And it's good not to post very controversial stuff. But who will prevent you from thinking if you just want to think? Nobody is going to know it. As of now, at least, we don't have that dystopian civilization where all humans have some chips planted in the brain and the government is controlling their thoughts. We are not there yet, thankfully. So you still have some freedom to think. Utilize that freedom. Think for yourselves. That's the only thing I would like to tell you. Because the people who go through these wars and stuff, war is an economy. Wars is some countries make profit out of the wars. Nobody cares about the leaders, at least don't care about the common people. What happens in wars is the common people lose their lives or lose their closed ones, and their life gets disrupted. Their plans, their future, everything gets disrupted. But those guys at the top, they don't even care. I lost that person. I told you, right? We used to chat and all, and we were physics nerds, and she was one of my first people because that was the time I was also exploring myself, and I was just in my class 11th standard, and I just joined the Young Scientist Journal. And after that, everything would begin for me, like founding the Journal of Young Physicist, writing my book and stuff. So it was a very kind of transition period in my life, and that's why so there's an example. A lot of people face even worse trauma and stuff because of wars. And not just wars, because of all this drama and all this happening. So is this really like the thing that it should be? So if I talk about nihilism, then that means I'm inhuman, and these things, they are really like this is like the best. By this you are upholding humanity, according to you, by blowing up small incidents into large issues just to get likes on social media, and by dramatizing incident, and just by attacking people and being toxic, and just by showing unnecessary ego but disguised as self-respect. Do you think this is really, you're doing anything good, you're doing anything great, you understand humanity, you understand emotions, you understand person much more than I do, or not I, like much more than the people like me do? Let me tell you, I'm just going on increasing the like elongating. Well, the last point. I promise this is the last point. I do not see myself as a player in the game that you guys are playing. Like, I mean, I'm not saying all of you are playing, but that most humans are actually playing this game of getting a degree, getting a job, getting money, getting settled, getting settled into a respectable position in the eyes of society. The usual every people, but we are here, so we have to do something. We have to just get a degree, we have to get a job, we have to earn money, we have to maybe have a family, start a family, and that kind of thing. So that is the game you're playing. So the problem with you guys is that you guys see yourself as players in the game. No, every human is playing the game. I'm also playing the game, and I have to win the game. Ronaldo has scored a goal, so I am Messi. I have to score a goal. That is that you guys see yourself as a player of the game. The problem with that is that, yeah, sometimes we all have to play the game. Even I'm not saying that. Even sometimes even I see myself as a player. Sometimes I am a player. Many of the times, but sometimes I think it's also important to take a back seat. It's not always I have to be in control of my life. No, because if you are playing the game, then you cannot analyze the big picture, analyze the game from a broader perspective. You cannot analyze the pattern. Because if you are playing a football game, suppose, then you're playing the game, so you only have information about the nearest player surrounding you and the ball when it comes to you. Not always. But overall, if you look at the game as a spectator or as a referee, you can see the entire game. Which player is doing who has what percentage possession of the ball, whether it was a goal or an offside, whether the ball came. I mean, you can analyze the entire game if you are the referee. But the referee is himself not a player. So try sometimes stop being so anthropocentric, stop being so egocentric, stop being so self-centered, and try to take a third person view, try to take a backseat and try to analyze the game. What are humans actually doing? My emotional modeling, that's kind of an analysis. From 4 equations and a global parameter, I modeled emotions between two persons. It's a very crude analysis, but still it's an analysis. I reduce humans and human emotions to a term in an equation. To do that, you have to stop thinking about yourself as an active player, at least sometimes. Not, and then that is one, and I think that will give you a lot of insights about where we are going wrong currently as humanity, where the current generation is going wrong. That will give a lot of insights. You don't always have to, like show that you are the one in control and you have a lot of ego and you have a lot of. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares about me. Nobody cares about you either. And the difference is I don't want anyone to care, but you want people to care about you. That is the difference. Nobody cares about me also. I'm not saying people care about me. Nobody care about either you or me. But the difference is I don't want people to care about me. You guys want. That's why you always have to play the game. You always have to score a goal, or you always have to stop the other opponent from scoring. But you are not content with observing the patterns in the game. Because I play the game. I play my game, my own game, not your game, not going by your rules. Because I like analyzing patterns and I like finding broad picture, and I want to find the truth for the sake of finding the truth, not for getting a Nobel Prize or for getting a validation from a society which I think has at least I can say I'm not proud to be a part of this society. Okay, enough of this. I need a break. Thank you for listening.